Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
What could cause such a catastrophic crash? A mechanical failure, a bomb, or a shoot-down? A theory getting attention because of the heightened tensions in Iran. Some are pointing to what appear to be shrapnel holes in the pictures of some of the wreckage, similar to what was found in the Malaysian Flight 17, which was shot down over Ukraine.
Yeah. Obviously, that looks like the plane's been shot down. Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, came out and you know, you can say what you want about all of this stuff, but it's a horrible situation where a bunch of people were heading home, back to school, on vacation, on a night where tensions were high because of the Soleimani death and then the missile barrage into Iraq from Iran. And it's awful. I've seen the video. If you've not seen the video, it's pretty much everywhere now. And what you see is something coming. Somebody's filming almost from like their backyard, and you just see it's several miles away. You see this orange fireball moving at a high rate of speed, and then it gets probably a couple hundred feet or so below the ground and above the treetops, and then it explodes, and then it crashes and it explodes again. And it's just, it's couldn't even imagine what that was like, because there was no mayday, there was nothing. It was just an explosion.
We have intelligence from multiple sources, including our allies and our own intelligence. The evidence indicates that the plane was shot down by an Iranian surface-to-air missile. This may well have been unintentional.
Well, I would hope it's unintentional, right? So, I mean, you would hope, right, that they're not setting their military up and going, hey, you know what? The minute some planes get in there, every once in a while, let's just thin the herd, right? It's too much. No. I mean, you had a night where hours earlier, probably less than 2 hours, probably about 90 minutes or so earlier, the FAA had issued a warning about air travel and restricted air. They said you need to stay away from anything that has to do with that. Stay away. And I just think that, the missiles that were fired into Iraq from Iran were fired closer to the border, not from Tehran. I think somebody panicked, saw something, who knows what it was that they thought was happening or what they thought they saw, and they potentially reacted. Right? And it's horrible. With all that going on, and then voting on what's happening with the war powers to limit Trump's war powers because, first of all, and here's the thing, what Trump's trying to say is essentially, hey, 2002, we were able to do something like this because of the terrorism thing. And so that's what he reacted to. Trump did. With all of that being said, you got to go to Congress to declare war. We didn't declare war on Iran, but we did kill a military leader of Iran, specifically. If we were targeting somebody else, right, in Iraq that we believed was part of ISIS or Al-Qaeda or Meka-Uppa, which is making up words, and that guy happened to be with him, it might have been a different story, but the reality is General Soleimani was the target.
Trust me, I'm gonna let people know that at this moment in time, to play this game with the War Powers Act, which I think is unconstitutional, is that whether you mean to or not, you're empowering the enemy. I know you don't mean to, but we live in the real world here. So debate all you want. This is a constitutional democracy, but get ready for a lively debate.
Yeah. Lively debate. That right there is Graham. But, you know, a lot of Republicans were not happy. 24 hours ago, Mike Lee and Rand Paul, both upset. They came out. And remember what they said yesterday after that briefing.
Probably the worst briefing I've seen, at least on a military issue, in the 9 years I've served in the United States Senate. It is not acceptable for officials within the executive branch of government, I don't care whether they're with the CIA, with the Department of Defense, or otherwise, to come in and tell us that we can't debate and discuss the appropriateness of military intervention against Iran. It's un-American, it's unconstitutional, and it's wrong.
Yeah. So they were not happy, and, you know, as they vote to make sure that this, you know, we no leader should say, all right, we're going to go to war. Right? That's why we have what we have. We have the powers that be that we've entrusted as best that we possibly can. Hey, you guys need to make sure this. You go represent us. And that includes in times where we may face the potential to go to war. I still would like to know a little bit more about this. Right? So you got Lindsey Graham out there protecting the president. On the other side,
you know, I think it's sad when people have this fake sort of drape of patriotism, and anybody that disagrees with them is not a patriot. Look, I love my country. I have many family members who have served in the military and continue to serve in the military. You know, I love my country as much as the next guy. But for him to insult and say that somehow we're not as patriotic as he hasn't even read the history of the Constitution. The Constitution specifically says that the war-making power resides in Congress.
Yeah. But what they'll say is, this isn't war. He was taking out somebody that was an imminent threat. There wasn't a declaration of war because of the 2002, you know, basically the war against terror, that there was the opportunity to take somebody out, and that's what they're going to defend. I would like to see what it looks like. I still don't feel we've got any story that's real, but we'll find out. We will find out, I'm sure, sooner rather than later. And how much of that truth will we find out? Because I'm sure the Republicans that support Trump will cloud it up, right, and make it mucky. And on the other side, I'm sure the Democrats will make sure that even if there is there's some stuff there that was absolutely real, they'll make it seem like, well, this was just, you know, him being frustrated and this was another distraction so he could just do something. So I don't know if we'll get the real answer, but I don't feel like we're getting any answer that's going to satisfy anybody who's independently thinking. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. With all that going on, we got this whole impeachment thing.
I'm not holding him indefinitely. I'll send him over when I'm ready. And that will probably be soon.
Yeah. My money. This is just me. Could be totally wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Won't be the last. I'm a human being. Next week, Wednesday through Friday, sometime next week, it will happen. You've got this going on right now. Iran is just taking place. There is this debate. Tomorrow, could it happen tomorrow? Yes, but think about this. Monday, into a new week. Still debating a few things, but they're going to want to start to move the focus over to the Democratic debates. And because she's a Democrat, I don't think she wants to steal the power of the news cycle and take away from that. I could be wrong. Again, I could be wrong, but I just have a feeling it's going to be Wednesday-ish next week. Unless there's some sort of crazy tomorrow at, 5 p.m., 4:59, as they tend to do, if they're going to dump anything out there for everybody. It's a possibility as well, but it's even Democrats are now saying to her, Nancy, let's just get this over with. Let's just get this out there. Let's get this moving. Let's move in the direction that we need to move so we can start putting in place the things that we need to put in place so we can do this. Okay, can we do that? Can we push out and push off and get this thing going? Right? You're wanting something from them, the Republicans, that you're not going to get. Right? It's just not going to happen. So let's just move on.
They get to start it if they choose. But they do not get to declare that it can never be finished.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out for her. And, she can't hold it forever. Could she hold it for another month? It's possible. But I just don't see that happening. And I think if the Democrats were united behind her, that'd be one thing. But I think they don't want it to look any more political than it already is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me. I'm going. Lots of stuff happening. Lots of shows I do, working out, all that stuff. Perfect examples. In the middle of the day, depending where you are, you know how you come back after lunch, a little lethargic, right? That's where Super Beats comes in for me. And I love Super Beats, right? I've got the soft chews. At home, I've got the powder. Here I've the soft chews. Totally convenient. I pop 2 soft chews and away I go. And it's awesome. Great for your heart health, circulation. It's just amazing. It really, really is. And now is your chance to save. You buy 2 bags, you get a third one free. The chews are made, they have grapeseed extract in it, which is clinically shown to support healthy blood pressure. So it's all of this packed in one punch. And they're not candy. I tell everybody that because I have somebody here at work who comes in and they gobbles it, and it's just not candy. Tastes a little bit like candy, the energy and stuff, but you don't need a dozen. You just need 2, and away you go. Get yours today. You're going to love it. Superbeatsradio.com/Chad. 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 Buy 2, get a third bag free. Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
It's college acceptance season, and Wallet Hub says these towns and cities go right to the front of the class.
Ann Arbor at number 5, Tampa at number 4, Scottsdale number 3, Orlando 2, and Austin, Texas number 1.
Analyst Jill Gonzalez says not only are they fun places to live, they make the grade financially.
Housing costs, of course, things like how many rental units are available, economic opportunities, the earning potential for college graduates, the share of part-time jobs while you're in school.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool, though. Like when you're getting ready for your kids, it's not just, you got to think about it, too. Your kids are going to go off in a lot of places. You're going to go to big places, right? I'm out here in Phoenix. We've got, ASU is massive. You've got just up the road, Tucson, and they've got, they've changed the name. I mean, it's just Arizona, but now it's like, it used to be the U of A, and now it's something like the A of U. It's just something silly, but it matters, right? Because some places people are going to stick. Like you go to school in Michigan, Ann Arbor may be neat and stuff, but you're not sticking around, right? Like, I think I'm going to stay here. Lloyd, one of my buddies that works here, he's from Ann Arbor. He didn't stay there. He came out here to ASU and he stuck. So that's important. And the part-time job thing is very important too. But if you have, and think about this, if you've got a big college town, you're looking around where your kid may go to school, or where maybe you're younger and you're thinking where you may go to school, you may be looking around too. So if I like this place, it's a hub potentially as a college graduate to stay there, especially if I've got I major in something where things may be growing big time. Like now, you could go out to Texas, right? And University of Texas or USD, it's University of San Antonio and stuff like that. You go out there, and because of how big the tech world is, you can do tech stuff there and not have to go, okay, now I got to go up to California and Silicon Valley. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Some of you are texting in about there's all these videos are popping up of the plane, and it's just something in one of the videos looks like it looks like something's coming at it. Again, I don't know how real all these videos are, but definitely some of the videos are real, and I don't think it's I think at this point in time, I don't even know what does Tehran do? Like, what do you do if you're Iran? You shot down an airplane full of innocent passengers. That's a tough thing. You've got to answer questions. They're not going to allow, apparently, normally, like Boeing, Bombardier, Airbus, I don't know who else makes airplanes anymore, they would have the opportunity to come help in the investigation because you're trying to figure out what went wrong with the plane. Is there a structural problem? And if there's a large fleet of them out there, are there other ones that are facing something similar? And we need to get to that and fix it. And they're not going to let Boeing there. But I think the reason is Boeing probably took one step in, looked and said, no, this was definitely not anything to do with the airplane itself. Something breached it. Or there was a bomb, but it wasn't, it's not like the Max, not like that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Feel free to tweet at me. Next Tuesday, it's going to be the debate, 9 p.m. Eastern. I think it's on CNN. Only 5 have qualified. Only 5. We're going to talk about that. Some people are pissed. They want more, but this is, Tom Perez has been pretty straightforward. Who's the guy who's running the DNC that, hey, we want the best up there. And if you're the Democrats, you'd rather have somebody way out in the lead, and there is somebody out there that's not going to be in the debates, but still could be a really interesting character. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Plus, wait till you hear when you go to the Tokyo Olympics what the athletes will be sleeping on. It's very interesting. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
He just makes decisions.
Let me tell you something. I'm sitting here looking, and like literally an hour ago, there was no way. It was just going to be 5 people on the stage. 5 people on the stage at next Tuesday night's debate. Now, Phil, I hate to tell you this, brother. Looks like Steyer's going to make it.
I'm sure I'm going to find out in an email shortly.
My head hurts. Like Joe Biden, Buttigieg, Sanders, Warren, I expect. Klobuchar, I'm surprised, but Tom Steyer. Now, they have till 12 p.m. on January 10th to make the cut. I don't see Tom Steyer as he's awful. He really is. So, but it looks like he's on the stage. So he got 2 big surges earlier today that pushed him up and over. A Fox News poll was a helper, I guess. Fox News poll in Nevada. So Biden, Bernie, Steyer's tied for 3rd there with Elizabeth. Man, that's crazy. Doesn't look like the Yang dog's going to get there. Yang has no chance anyways. You know what? That's the kind of guy. So, like, here's the thing. If I was president, right? I'd be president. I've always said in my cabinet I would like to have both parties represented. I mean, whatever party you are, if you're Republican, you know, I would. So let's say I was a Republican president. I would like to have a couple people in my cabinet who are Democrats, right? Because I want to be able to hear. Because if you're representing the people, that's a good thing to have. And vice versa. If I was a Democrat, I'd have a couple Republicans there. But somebody like Andrew Yang would be interesting if you've got, if you're looking around and you're saying to yourself, you know, that's the guy who I would find a place in my cabinet or create something because I think his forward thinking and the way that he looks at things in a very real way, I think that's a good thing. And that's what you do, right? That's you find people like that, smart people. You want to be a success in life. You want to be successful. Working hard is amazing. Thinking outside the box is an absolute must. I always tell everybody, people say, what are your shows about as far as how you guys create the show? I said, let me tell you something. I am structured, but there's chaos within inside of it, right? That's what we are. Some structure and some chaos as far as what goes on. But I've surrounded myself, Phil and Anthony and Alonzo and a team of people who I say to myself, you've got to do it. You put people around you that are to get it. And that's the kind of person you bring in. And I found something interesting that Michael Bloomberg talked about with when he was talking, because he is the disruptor in all of this. Not in the earlier races and the caucuses and the Iowa and through New Hampshire and down to South Carolina, all that. Not there. His disruption is going to come in the middle to latter portion, including Super Tuesday and what he could do. But he said something very interesting.
He just makes decisions without consulting others, and that's the ways you make a bad decision. No company would allow their CEO to do that. You would not survive.
And here's where he's right in some ways. And what people don't get. We've always said, wow, we want a businessman in the White House. What's that like to have a business person in the White House? Somebody who's been out there. Trump is not like a Bloomberg, right? He's not like a lot of these other people that are big CEOs, a Jamie Dimon and all of these other people, because they answer to boards of directors and shareholders where they could be voted out. They have a vision. They create that vision. They put things together. But at the end of the day, you're working for and with those people, and the buck will stop with you. That's why you have to consult with everybody. Trump's not like that. Trump's not public. He's not answering to a board of directors. The buck stops with him and starts with him, and he realizes that. He's not a CEO, even though he's a CEO in the classic fashion that we think of it now with, you're trading in a board of directors and you got the CEO, the CIO, but the fact is he's the king, the dictator of Trump world. And that's a different thing. We always, we think, oh, he's going to, he's used to having a board of directors talk to you. Yeah, at the end of the day, you may have you have a de facto board of directors and people you work with, but it doesn't matter. None of them can fire you. They're not taking the company away from you. They're not going to can your ass. None of that stuff's happening, right? They're not voting you out of your own company. No. None of that. And I think that's a different thing that we see comparatively to what I think a lot of us expected when it comes to a business person. He was right. Bloomberg's like, well, you would never work that way. Well, no, you wouldn't. You couldn't. But when you go public, when you answer to other people's, when you have other partners in certain situations, and yeah, it's a much different thing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You're right. Anthony, he texted over. He said, Department of Labor. I don't know if I do Department of Labor with Andrew Yang. I would set him up, with department. It's like the guru, right? Like he's going to be the czar of, emerging technologies and something like that because that's where we are. We need that. We're at the point where I won't be surprised. I mean, we've got a technology czar, if you will, but that we're going to find a AI czar, and we need those things because that's how fast things are moving now. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. With all of that going on, speaking of technology,
Facebook said it is not deaf to criticism about false claims and disinformation allowed to proliferate on the site, but neither is Facebook willing to limit political advertising the way other social media companies have. Instead, Facebook announced changes meant to give users more control over the ads they see and how many they see. Politicians, though, are still free to pay for posts that make false or misleading claims, and political parties are still free to send targeted messages to narrow audiences. Twitter banned all ads about candidates and hot-button issues. Google limited targeting tools. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Yeah, so they're all playing around with it, and Facebook's trying to figure exactly what it is that they're going to be doing. Because it's important. We talked about yesterday what kind of role that Facebook played in getting Trump elected. And the role was big. I mean, Trump was the reason he got elected. It was the tools that were available to him that he used in such an incredible way to get himself elected. Twitter? No, they're going to stay away from stuff. Instagram? I don't know. Instagram is not that. It's not that influential in this kind of scenario because the audience that you're really looking at is much younger. They're not. They're there to see girls in bikinis and people making stuff, and it's Facebook is that big one. And how do they handle everything? I think is a real question because they're debating it every day, and this debate isn't going anywhere.
There's no real clarity on what that actually means. You're not going to be able to turn political ads off altogether, so we don't know how many fewer ads people are going to be able to see, what that actually looks like on the platform, and how it's going to impact regular users.
Yeah. And, I mean, do you give people the opportunity to opt in or opt out of political ads? I mean, you can opt in and opt out of a lot of crap. Do you do that? You don't want political ads? You have a chance to opt in and opt out? Maybe that's it. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's because here's what Facebook just basically wants to say. Look, if you're a candidate running, you can run whatever the hell you want. We're going to leave it up to the people. It's hard because not that people are stupid. Well, there are stupid people. Let's be real. There's a lot of people. People are ignorant. We're all ignorant, right? It's the collective knowledge we put together that makes us a smarter species. But it's also we're a bit lazy, right? And groupthink is contagious. So we've got confirmation bias with a contagion that's called groupthink, and it's a perfect storm. We're expecting people to make the right decisions if we see something that we think, well, I don't know if I believe that. I should do a little research. But our confirmation bias says, oh, I'm going to believe that because I want it to be true and because the person that shared it with me is somebody I trust. And it's like a virus. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. You can text the program, tweet at us, Twitter. I want to see, I want to see what Twitter looks like during this political time, how they handle all this stuff. I think it's a real, so you're not going to be able to run ads, you're not going to be able to do certain things. And in saying that, this is where Trump, I think, has a massive edge on not only the amount of people that follow him, but also the fact that, they're not going to silence politicians, but what they are going to do is Trump just gets it better. And at this point in time, if it's lies that everybody's going to be telling, he's the best liar in the group. If it's entertainment they want, he's the most entertaining. He's going to one-up you on that. And that's a strength of his, no matter what it is. Whether he's selling something, he's telling the absolute truth, or he's lying to you, whatever it is that he's going to get you a little bit more than the next person. My Pillow, amazing, incredible, most incredible. 5 different designer colors. I've got gray ones. I've got white ones. They're soft. They're super absorbent. Now's your chance to get yours. Huge introductory offer. 60-day money-back guarantee. You can save 30% on these. So 30 by 56 bath towels, 16 by 30 hand towels, washcloths as well. Made in the USA, 100% USA cotton. Why does that matter? It's not some cotton that's been mixed together with fillers and cheap softeners, and then you wash it a couple times, it starts to fray, and it doesn't really dry you, right? No, this is amazing. Luxury feel. And again, you're going to feel the difference, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Now's your chance to grab these. You're going to love them. I do. Started traveling with mine, especially because I work out. And I'm like, oh, cool. I can go work out, take a shower. It's awesome. It really, really is. What you need to do is go to mypillow.com. There's a new radio listener special. You click on that. You're going to save yourself 30% off. Enter promo code Benson. New radio listener special, mypillow.com. Promo code Benson, or call 800-983-4975. Chad Benson Show.
I, you, he, she, it. Lucy is a girl.
Point of personal privilege. Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Shut up, boo. Ain't nobody got time for this.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
We're talking off the air because I was thinking, I kind of want to see this movie Underwater, which is like this, like a sci-fi kind of horror movie about a mysterious creature that terrorizes crew members like on a research station. And it's actually, and I can guarantee you, I mean, it's got Kristen Stewart in it, and it's getting good reviews, and it looks pretty good. It's getting, and Anthony's like, oh man, I got to go see that. And I got to go see 2017. And we're like, what? And he's like, oh yeah. It's 1917. I do want to see that. Like I'm all in on that. That looks just amazing. So, and I think that's what's going to sweep all of the awards already for the BAFTA and the SAG Awards and the Directors Guild. It is going to sweep everything. Already picking my Oscar favorite. And then I think the other thing is the Joker. I do believe he's going to win the Joker. I was telling Phil, I'm often wondered, like, who comes up with ideas for movies? Right? I want you guys to stick with me. I read Phil. I'm going to read you guys this. Remember when I read you this yesterday, Phil? This movie plot?
Yes.
Huh? Like, yes. Okay, I'm going to read you guys this movie plot. And I want to know who in God's name was sitting there and saying to themselves, let's do this. How much money do you guys need? We're doing it. You guys need more? Right? This is it. I'm reading to you guys. Be prepared. A hapless, nomadic cook, an ambitious Chinese immigrant, try their hand at the American dream when building a promising biscuit business around a stubborn dairy cow in this 19th century set drama. Like who? And it may be a great movie, right? It may be an amazing movie. And like you can already tell too. It's like IMDb's giving it a 7.8, Rotten Tomatoes a 90%, and Letterboxd is giving it a 3.9 out of 5. And then I always wait to see, okay, what's the audience really get? Because now that pretty much most everybody has seen it is the critics, and the critics they're there for the art. But I just, I'm thinking to myself, how many of you are like, I got to go see that movie? Chad, tell me that again. It's like, we could make it up. Okay, Phil, let me tell you something. This is what I'm going to tell you, because we're going to do a great movie. It's going to be about a 16th century French bricklayer who writes poetry and is falling in love with his sister's husband. Oh, my God. Who happens to be mute. We got to throw something else in there. Oh, that sounds great.
We could sell it somewhere.
Oh, my God, yeah. Somebody's like, that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And I would love to write a movie like that and then go up and then get the Academy Award and just look and go, you guys are the dumbest people. We did this as a joke because we thought it was funny. Oh, and our career would be over, but we'd have our hit. We'd have our Academy Award. And we only do what we like. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Tehran. What a crazy day. So, in this week, right, in the last 10 days, Soleimani's been taken out. Arguably the second most powerful man in the Middle East. The Iranians retaliated by firing missiles, which we knew about, and what was going to go down. And the same night they were doing that, a plane was taken down just outside of Tehran after it left the Khomeini airport. And now what some people thought was just a coincidence, Ukrainian plane, now looks like it is more than that and awful.
It was soon after takeoff that the jet suddenly disappeared from radar. It was less than 4 hours after Iran launched that barrage of missiles at American targets in Iraq that the Ukrainian jet was allowed to take off. An hour late, just 2 minutes into the flight, the jet was climbing less than 5,000 feet off the ground, 10 miles from the airport, and the data stops. The jet falling from the sky.
Yeah. And the videos, and there's several videos that are like, look at this video. There's a video over here. There's a video over here. But you could see something. One of the videos looks like something comes and hits it. You've got another video, though, where you can see something clearly coming down, and there's no struggle with the plane trying to keep it up. It's heading down, and it's on fire, and it gets about 400 feet off the ground and just above the tree line that the video, the person's taking from the backyard looking out. You see it explode, and then, boom, another massive explosion as it hits the ground. Like that. Just frightening. The questions, again, being answered. And it's a horrible, horrible, horrible situation. And I don't think they did it on purpose. But more and more is pointing to that. And with all of that going on, you still have what's taking place with Iran and the U.S. and the voting to the War Powers Act as far as, okay, you know what, we're going to try to limit, what Trump can do in the, here, and we're going to vote on that. And then, of course, you still have impeachment, which that isn't going anywhere at all. Trump was actually asked today about Bolton. Remember that character?
I'd have to ask the lawyers because we do have to meet for the future. We have to protect presidential privilege. When we start allowing national security advisors to just go up and say whatever they want to say, we can't do that.
Yeah. And some of that's true. And some of that is also, he's a wild card. Again, just like I think that you never know what he may or may not say. I would err, if Bolton was to testify, I would err on the side that he's not going to give you all the information you think you're going to get that's going to change anybody else's mind, that's going to be a smoking gun. And the reason for that is he's still a conservative, he's still a quote-unquote Republican, he's still a person that moves within that circle, he's got his own pack, you're not going to have somebody that's going to come out and jeopardize, essentially being ostracized. Now, I'm sure there are plenty of Republicans who aren't fans of Trump, right? And to a person, because I've talked to a few, they don't mind some of the stuff, but they're over the fighting and the arguing. They feel like the party has lost its way, but they thought like the party's lost its way before, but they really feel like now its direction is Trump is going to be the person. And here's the thing. I always said, there's only one Trump. Nobody's coming in, just like Soleimani. We talk about this guy, like, who was this guy? Oh, he's just another general. He's not just another general. This guy was so much different than that. There's only one Trump. There's not somebody coming in behind Trump that's like Trump. Point that person out to me. It's not. So when you're and here's the other thing. When people try to become what they're not, that's completely disingenuous. It's not going to work, and they're going to fall on their face. So, yeah, there's some Republicans out there that worry about that. Even if they like them, they worry about, okay, we're not going to be able to replicate what made him successful. So, now what? Well, you're not going to piss off your base, and that's what Bolton's not going to do. He's not going to piss off the base. Even though he may not like Trump, even though it feels like, he's not going to do that because he still wants to be a part of something. He still wants to be a player. You don't start your own pack if you think, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm just going to go retire and spend more time with my family. No, you're going to want to be a part of that. So as much as he's a wild card potentially that some people think, I think he's going to be a nothing. I don't think it's going to happen anyways. When, though, is the question that people are asking. Today, Nancy kind of threw something out there.
I'm not holding him indefinitely. I'll send him over when I'm ready. And that will probably be soon.
Yeah. I think, this is just me, Wednesday. Could be wrong next week. But if she's going to, she won't do it today, obviously. And they're voting on, the war power, and they're going to debate this, and they still the Iran thing, over there. I think she would like to get through the weekend. Then you've got the debate on Tuesday night. And I think she doesn't want to play the stealing everybody's thunder, so we'll do it then. And then, you've got the likes of Warren and Sanders having to really answer certain questions. And Klobuchar, that's not what they're looking for. So I think she'll hold off till Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Speaking of the debate, right now it looks like 6 on stage, all white, some extra white, some. Let's see here. Biden's pretty white, and Buttigieg is pretty white, and Bernie's white, and Klobuchar's really white. Tom Steyer he's just like, I don't even know what to call him. He's like translucent. He's see-through almost. He's uber white. And then, of course, the only person that's going to be on stage that's a person of color is Elizabeth Warren. Oh, she's not? Okay, so she's white, too. And they're upset about that. They're upset. Well, we need more diversity. But Tom Perez doubled down. It's like, no. It's like, look, we need the best. So what we're looking for is the best. We're looking for the best person. And at this point in time, if you're not resident, here's the thing. Somebody like Bloomberg has made more headway in a lot of these polls and Tom Steyer has. And I think Tom Steyer is so weak. Oh, God, he's awful. But they've made more than the likes of, Cory Booker and like Tulsi. Like people say, well, what about Tulsi? She's not a person. Here's the thing about Tulsi is the left thinks Tulsi's a Republican anyways. So it doesn't, at this point in time, it doesn't matter. But, Kamala Harris didn't make for whatever reason. It's just not working for him. So, do you put somebody like Cory Booker on stage because, we need more diversity, so we're going to put you on stage? I would feel like that's the slap in the face to Cory, right? Shouldn't you want to be there on your own merits? And you've been there, and you didn't move the needle. That's the other thing. You were there. Andrew Yang, he's been there more than Cory Booker. Cory Booker just doesn't move the needle for whatever reason. But I think they would like to see this thing thinned out fast. I don't think they want what I think potentially could happen, which is the Bloomberg getting in there, messing everything up, and it's a brokered convention, and then that's where who knows what could happen with that. They want the quicker that they can start getting themselves loaded and ready to roll behind somebody, the better they think it's going to be. Because I think they're already starting to think to themselves, the war chest that Trump have is massive. His influence on the web is massive. While he is absolutely divisive and at times, he's so evokes an emotion, as much as that can be a negative, it's also uber positive for him. So they're going to need somebody that moves that kind of needle as well. So we'll see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson. Should Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Wounded Paw, amazing organization. Incredible organization. What do they do? As we talk about, what's going on over in Iran and how many soldiers, first of all, we have God knows how many soldiers scattered throughout the globe at any given time. But many of them are coming home. Many of them have been in conflict and they're coming home and they're struggling with PTSD. On average, 20 veterans a day commit suicide. That's where Wounded Paw comes in. Wounded Paw saw the need. Ernesto put it together, had a dog that changed his life after he served and was struggling. And not a service dog, just a dog that came to his life and changed his life. That's when they decided, hey, you know what? Let's connect our furry best friends with our nation's heroes. That's where Wounded Paw was born. And it is incredible. Their motto is to save a paw is to save a life. They rescue dogs in shelters after identifying, this one, dogs that would otherwise be euthanized, and they take them, train them to be service dogs, and get them for veterans, first responders, and their family. It is amazing. Check it out for yourself at woundedpawproject.org and give. Give. It can be cash. It can be an unwanted vehicle, and it is a vehicle for change. It is simple and easy to donate. It's incredible. Call now, 844-6784-PAW, 844-678-4729 or woundedpawproject.org. Amazing tax-deductible gift, and it will change lives. It really will. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Stuff. Junk. Really? That's trending? Yes, totally trending. Let's start with the Twitter. Twitter's fun. Iran plane crash. Underwater. I was thinking about going and seeing that late tonight. Underwater. Looks kind of cool. Tom Steyer. Matt Getz. Yeah, Matt Getz is an interesting. Mike Leach, funnest football coach in the pros or in college. It's trending. Big time. He's fun. Trudeau, because of his speech today and what took place with the 60-plus Canadian citizens who were on board the plane that was shot down, allegedly. Trending as well. Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Very much so. A lot of stuff there. Steyer. I can't believe Steyer made it. God, what's wrong with us? Who helped him? Who? Phil, did you do it, Phil?
I was not even involved.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. It's funny, we were talking about the plane crash. Somebody tweeted at me. Really, Chad? Because Muammar Gaddafi shot down one of our planes. You need to pay attention to what you say. And we shot down... We shot down an Iranian jetliner. Am I correct? I remember that, right? Yeah. So... That's correct, Phil, right? Like, there's so many... And I remember the one in the Korean Peninsula. There's been stuff. So everybody just slow your roll. You can't even say anything. Because let me challenge you. Because I've got to be right. That's why I have no friends. All the time, every second. Go to Google. Always fun at Google. Google's got crazy stuff. You never know what's going on in the world of Google. Why would you say that, Chad? Because it's Google. Google's fun. Mike Leach again. Pokemon Direct trending big time. So they've got a new stuff added to it. Law enforcement appreciation. Jillian Michaels. We're going to touch on that a little bit later. She's in trouble for the whole Lizzo thing. How dare she do that? How dare you do that, Jillian? It's just amazing, right? Like, God, you can't say anything. Boy George, talk about him. He's in trouble, too. Everybody's in trouble. It's like, can I say that? Like, you have to ask yourself. And remember what it is when you were younger? You say, if you have to ask yourself, then you probably shouldn't say it. Well, no. In some cases, yeah, that's absolutely true. But the reality is it doesn't even matter anymore. I mean, you could say something and you know, producer Anthony said the line is drawn in the sand. The problem is the line gets drawn all over. You know what it's like now? Picture this. There's a perfect example. You're standing in the sand, and then somebody draws a line to the right of you. You're like, okay, well, maybe I should take a step to the left. Nope, somebody's drawn a line there. Well, maybe I'll just go forward with it. Nope, somebody's done that. Well, I'll take a step back. Nope, now what are you doing? You're stuck in a box by yourself with your thoughts and anything. That's what it feels like is happening in this day and age. That's what it feels like. That's what and it's so crazy. Shouldn't be that way. And I think we'll eventually get back to some normalcy. I would like to think so. Because, okay, think about this. If we don't have some normalcy, we don't find some sort of common ground, we're like, all right, what does it look like in 5 years in the world of political correctness? I mean, just think about that. Like when Boy George goes out and says, you know, basically leave your pronouns at the door and let's stop being so PC, and he gets destroyed for it, right? What does it look like in 5 years in the world of political correctness and in the cancel culture, where there's nobody on Twitter anymore because everybody's gone, and there's nobody on TV anymore because everybody's said something, done something in the past, and even at the time it was okay, but it's not anymore, so we have to cancel them for something that was okay back then. It's like, could you imagine if crimes were that way? Retro crimes? We're like, hey, you remember that thing that we've made illegal now, but 4 years ago it wasn't illegal? Well, we've decided to retroactively charge you. Huh? Yeah. Goodness me. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I thought congressional hearings were supposed to educate lawmakers, but today's are mostly partisan bickering.
Speaker, Chairman, I have a gentleman's not recognized.
Chairman, I have a point of order.
Gentleman's not recognized.
I have a point of order, though.
I don't see any education happening. But members haven't tried to learn things at hearings for a long time. Maybe they don't want to look as ignorant as Senator Orrin Hatch did at this Facebook hearing.
Well, how do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
I see.
It's true. As we get ready, think about this. So we've just been through the Congress, but now we're going to the Senate. Now it gets more than just real. Once the articles come down, and Nancy is going to be bringing them down sooner rather than later, apparently.
I'm not holding them indefinitely. I'll send them over when I'm ready. And that will probably be soon.
Yeah. So Stossel's right there, though. Like, why do we have these things? If you've listened to my show long enough, God bless you. Thank you so very much. My mom doesn't even listen. But nothing real comes out of these. This is to show, hey, we're doing our job. Right? Trying to. This is to rile up the base. This is part of the sales pitch. This is all of those things. Anything real is always behind closed doors. And that's a lot of what it is. It's you're able to, and remember, and I'll say it over and over again, and I'll stick to my guns over and over again. Right? It's never about the person answering the question. It's always about the person asking the question and grandstanding.
Lately, they're eager to attack big tech, especially Mark Zuckerberg.
I actually don't know if Libra is going to work. I believe that it's important to try new things.
It is, so Congress should let him. Instead, they summon him to Washington where Representative Al Green grills him. Green, like many these days, doesn't want to learn. He wants to sneer and score points.
How many are headed by women? Minorities, Mr. Zuckerberg. Any members of the LGBTQ community?
Congressman, I do not know off the top of my head.
Give me a break.
Yeah. That's not his job. We're here to talk about Libra. Well, I'm here to talk about something else that's important to me, which is grandstanding. We're not here to do anything other than rabble rouse and yelp at each other. And for us to hopefully get enough points that we can send out emails the next day, which will excite you enough because you saw my 30-second soundbite that got me on the news. And in doing so, you're going to donate to whatever I'm asking you to donate to. And that's it. It's not about information, right? Because information's easy to get. We already have too many issues out there when it comes to what we believe. And we're already going out and we're just going to believe what we want to believe. We're not going to do anything. I was on a great TED Talk today that, the bias confirmation. But the we believe what we want to believe. We're going to hang with the people that also believe what we want to believe. And that's contagious. And this guy said, look, ignorance in a lot of ways is contagious. It's not hard to find out. You're never going to find out all of the information, but you could find out enough to make a much better decision in certain things, especially when it comes to politics. But most people won't take the time to do that. And that's what politicians know. It's easy to sell you when they know you're not really going to do the checking. And the people they know they can't sell, this isn't about them.
These hearings have changed a lot since they were invented by the very first Congress in 1789. Founder George Mason said members possess inquisitorial powers to inspect the conduct of public offices. But today, members use their time to bully people.
Mrs. DeVos, have you ever taken out a student loan?
Education Secretary Betsy DeVos is a billionaire. Elizabeth Warren knows that. Yet she asks,
have any of your children had to borrow money?
Been fortunate not to.
Warren wants to be seen bashing a rich Republican.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Why? Because you're scoring points. That's what you're supposed to be doing. We're sending our little army of people out to score points, and then, but are we getting to the end of things? We can. There's so many of these solutions that we could fix if it wasn't for the word politics. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. People are always going to bitch, right? They're always going to bitch. People are always going to throw a fit. People are going to find a way, no matter what, to scream and yell. And now we've given them a platform to do so. And that platform has been grabbed by politicians and used as great as any. I mean, you look at Trump and you've seen what he's doing in the world of television and the world of social media. He's grabbed it better than anybody else. And guess what? They're all jumping on it as fast because they've seen it used to be kind of information, but he took it to a level that it's out of this world.
Mr. Sloan, why was the bank involved in the caging of children?
Really? The bank helped cage children?
I don't know how to answer that question because we weren't.
Others grab TV FaceTime to claim they're more virtuous than others.
And I'm not going to sit here and allow this committee to be used to say that e-cigarettes, vaping, Juul is not killing our people.
But it's not. People screwing around with the machines and buying. But you see what I mean? That's perfect. It is just so hilarious. But how many, I watch because that's what I have to do. We come on here and we laugh about it. I try what they say, what they really mean. We do that every once in a while. Like what she said, what he said, what they really mean. But it's us. Until we start holding them accountable, right? Until you and I and everybody else hold them accountable. I don't care about all the other crap. I don't care about the politics of it all. Can you find the solution to this problem? Here's the problem. It is this. How do we get to the solution? Well, we can't because the wall in front of us is politics. Ooh.
And then there was the time when Congresswoman Maxine Waters grilled bankers about student loan debt.
What are you guys doing to help us with the student loan debt? Who would like to answer first? Mr. Monahan, Big Bank.
We stopped making student loans in 2007 or so.
Oh, so you don't do it anymore. Mr. Corbett?
We exited student lending in 2009.
Mr. Diamond?
We stopped doing all student lending.
Is the chair of the Financial Services Committee embarrassed that she didn't know that at the direction of her party, government took over student loans years ago? I don't know.
No. And you didn't know that? Orrin Hatch. How do you guys make money on the internet? How do you, it's silly. It is. And of course, the greatest of all, ladies and gentlemen.
When military personnel were being stationed on the island of Guam, Congressman Hank Johnson said this.
My fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
Excuse me?
We don't anticipate that.
Later, Representative Johnson said he was joking. But it didn't sound like he was joking. Watching the hearings, watching politicians score cheap points and bully productive people should make all of us want less government.
Yeah. I just want more efficient government. That's all. I mean, that should be the thing. Less government. We can talk about that. It's just more efficient, right? Just more efficient government. That's all. That's what I want. Get some stuff done. I don't care if the Democrats get it done or the Republicans get it done. The things that need to be done, I'd like to see that. But we'll not see that with politics the way it is, the tribalism the way it is. And let's be real. 30 years ago, politics was, was like, well, people went into it and you started to see a different generation that it started coming into politics and were influenced as this just doesn't have to be a second career. This could be my entire career. And on top of that, nowadays, it takes you to a whole new level of fame. And that's a different thing altogether. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program. You can tweet at us every single day. Again, at some point in time, Nancy's going to be handing those things over, and away we will go when it comes to impeachment. I'll remind you guys again, there'll be managers of the articles that will come over, lay out everything. Trump's people, his attorneys, will lay out theirs. Then they can decide if they want to have more witnesses as the Senate cross-examines and decides what will happen from there. And we'll figure it out. But nothing's going to change. Trump will still be here, so the Democrats know that. And they're getting ready for 2020 presidential election, which is about 10 and a half months away. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. You can tweet at me. You can text the program as well. And with all of that happening, you've got Iran, and we're still kind of in a holding pattern because it looks like everything is calmed down, at least for the moment, and Iran's had to turn their eyes to the plane crash and the potential that it was brought down by a missile. So we'll see how far we get with that, how open or closed Tehran is going to be with that. Are the Ukrainians going to play a big role in looking into it? They want to. They're sending special investigators. Looks like this thing was shot down. Had Ukrainians on board. What about Canada? There was 60-plus Canadians on board. So there's a lot of questions there that are going to be answered. And, you know, and what do we believe coming out of there? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at me. AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens, fastest growing over 50 organization in the country, offering you an opportunity to join for free today. It's a great organization. They're out there fighting on your behalf. Common sense immigration. We talk about it all the time. The benefits are really amazing, right? They really are. If you're over 50, you know, maybe you've got a mom or dad who's over 50, and you can look at Medicare, and they're trying to fill stuff out and figure stuff out. They've got questions. AMAC will help you with that. Retail, restaurant, hotel discounts. AMAC has all of that. Insurances, you name it, they have got it. And right now they're offering you a membership for free. It doesn't cost you a penny, right? It's a 1-year membership. It's absolutely free. You go to amac.us/Chad. That's AMAC.us/Chad. Or you can call 888-355-1617. That's 888-355-1617. Remember, it's a 1-year membership. It is free. amac.us/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
Somebody could have made a mistake on the other side. Could have made a mistake. It was flying. It was flying in not our system. No, it has nothing to do with us. It was flying in a pretty rough neighborhood, and somebody could have made a mistake. Some people say it was mechanical. I personally don't think that's even a question.
Yeah. So, Ukrainian plane, 170-plus people killed, leaving Khomeini Airport in Tehran the night of the retaliation for the killing of General Soleimani. And for, you know, the Ukrainians said it wasn't terror, it wasn't shot down or anything. And then within 24 hours, they've changed their tune. And now it's going to be investigated. What do the Iranians do? I mean, you know, that shows you that Trump is top of mind, right? You could say, well, he's a jerk, he's a horrible person, da-da-da. But the reality is somebody must have thought that the Americans were going to retaliate for the retaliation, and they were ready. The plane never got above 8,000 feet, and it exploded. It didn't have a malfunction and try to turn around, which, you know, people say usually, you know, in a situation like that, an engine explodes. There's enough that you can try to turn around. You can call for Mayday. It was an explosion. That was it. And it came crashing down. So what happens from this point? We'll see. We'll see. You know, Trump's getting blamed for that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. With all of that going on, Nancy's saying, I'm going to send him over. And by that, she's talking about the articles of impeachment, the big question about Bolton.
I'd have to ask the lawyers because we do have to me, for the future, we have to protect presidential privilege. When we start allowing national security advisors to just go up and say whatever they want to say, we can't do that.
Which he's right. And at the same time, what does he know in this situation I think is the question that people want to know. Not that it changes anything. Mitch McConnell's made it perfectly clear he is not going anywhere. So we'll see. We'll see what takes place, and we'll see when she's going to do it. My prediction is next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sometimes then. Could it be tomorrow? It's Friday. They'd like to do that Friday, dump thing where they do something, and then right before, like, to close the business for you all on Friday. And I just don't. I think with the upcoming debate, and we're just 3 weeks away from Iowa, I think that she's going to want to let them have debate night without having to question senator about all of this stuff. So it's I think she's going to do it the day after. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. I'm a believer. I just want to let you guys know that. Listen to the show. You guys know I'm a believer.
Justin Bieber confirms that, yes, he's battling Lyme disease. The superstar singer posting on Instagram that the illness and a serious case of chronic mono has affected his skin, brain function, energy, and overall health. He says we'll learn a lot more in a docuseries he's putting on YouTube shortly. It's been a rough couple of years, but he's getting the right treatment and will be back better than ever. Bieber previously announced a new tour and album coming this year, his first in almost 5 years.
Yep, Lyme disease for the Biebs. Treatable. Animal or insect bites, usually a tick, deer tick. Right? So, not going to die, but, he's struggling. 365,000 cases per year. 365,000. The Biebs is bringing awareness. Producer Phil, what color ribbon do we wear for that? We still wear ribbons anymore? Is that still a thing?
I have no clue.
I always wonder, is that a thing? Are we still doing the ribbons? I don't even know what the ribbons mean. Remember that we had the AIDS ribbon, which was the red ribbon. And then after a while, it was like, some people come on stage and like, is that person a general? Is there a Lyme disease ribbon? We should look that up. Lyme disease ribbon. Let's look that up. I don't even know the ribbons. We should have oh, there is. It's green. Such a jerk, Chad. 323-538-2420. And if you have Lyme disease, I'm not making fun of you. I didn't even know there was a ribbon. We should find out which other ones. Crohn's disease has a ribbon. It's purple. I'm totally unaware of these things. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Let the hate begin. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Somebody could have made a mistake on the other side. Could have made a mistake. It was flying. It was flying in not our system. No, it has nothing to do with us. It was flying in a pretty rough neighborhood, and somebody could have made a mistake. Some people say it was mechanical. I personally don't think that's even a question.
Trump earlier this morning talking about what more and more people around the globe, agencies are starting to say, that it looks like this Ukrainian plane that took off from Tehran the night that the Iranians fired into the bases was probably shot down by mistake. I'm assuming it's a mistake, by the way. And again, it's a fluid situation in some ways, because you kind of thought, well, could it have been an act of terrorism? But as they start to point more and more, and you're hearing even some other pilots come out and say the plane was climbing, it got to 8,000 feet, then all of a sudden an explosion. So this wasn't one of those things where they were having issues and they turned around and tried to get back and didn't make it. It was just a massive explosion, and then that was it. Period. And it's sad. I said earlier, we've talked about it to a few other people as we were tweeting about it earlier today, that, this is Trump living in, they expected some sort of retaliation. I'm assuming they were probably told to all be on guard. And I don't think this was a missile that was meant to fly out of Iran into Iraq. I think this was something where maybe they thought that this was an incoming situation. But horrific to say the least.
What could cause such a catastrophic crash? A mechanical failure, a bomb, or a shoot-down? A theory getting attention because of the heightened tensions in Iran. Some are pointing to what appear to be shrapnel holes in the pictures of some of the wreckage, similar to what was found in the Malaysian Flight 17, which was shot down over Ukraine.
Yeah, and it's sad. It's sad. And here's the other thing, too. What does Iran do in a situation like this? Because this isn't a localized situation. You had Canadians, you had Ukrainians, you had some Brits. This wasn't just everybody was Iranian, and people want answers, right? They all want answers. Normally too, Boeing, Airbus, whatever plane crashes, they usually get a chance to help with the investigation. And that reason is simple, because it's their plane. There are other planes. Was it something mechanical that they need to go and look at all of the other fleets and say, oh my God, guess what? This here thing is cracking and we need to fix it. So I'm sure we'll find out more in the coming days and weeks, but how much will we find out? Really, because they're going to want to keep this as closed as possible, especially if they shot it down. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Trump was out there today doing what Trump does, talking about Iran.
He was the big roadside bomb guy. He was the one who'd send him to Afghanistan, had send him to Iraq. He was big. That was his favorite thing. He thought it was wonderful. He doesn't think it's wonderful anymore.
Trump's people love him. That's why. They're talking about in Eugene, Oregon. They're going to hold a vigil for Soleimani. Solid right there, kids. Solid. Take away this guy. Look, a guy like Soleimani, right? It's like being in the mafia, right? You join the mafia. There's this, or you join a gang. At some point in time, the realization is it's going to end poorly for you, right? Like if you're in the North Korean military and you've made it up to the hierarchy and you've seen the reason that you've made it up through the hierarchy is because the hierarchy didn't retire. They disappeared or blown up. At some point in time, you kind of know what you're getting into, right? This guy hung out with bad people. If it wasn't us, potentially, it could have been somebody else. Or it could have potentially been somebody within the country or the regime itself. Trump took a gamble for whatever reason. Still unclear about that. We haven't got the answers that I would like to see. But you would have to think, right? Like, you ever watch any of those mobster shows? It's like one, maybe two. I'll watch because I love, like, especially on a Saturday night, I'll just be relaxing, and they have, like, American Gangster or mobster shows on the military channel or one of those, American Heroes channels, and they talk about, there's not one of them that makes it to, like, 74 and then retires, and just, everything's okay. I'm taking my 409k. And Trump tweeted that out about how great the stock market is and how great everybody's 409ks are doing. You can laugh about it, people. It's okay. He's not a god. Settle down. But nobody gets out alive, right? What do they always say, right? You either end up in jail forever or under a sheet. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Impeachment. Nancy speaking today about those articles.
I'm not holding them indefinitely. I'll send them over when I'm ready. And that will probably be soon.
Yeah. How soon could it be? Could be very soon. To the point where we could start seeing this thing get rolling here in the next 14 days? Even Democrats are now behind the scenes. I was talking to a source last night who said that they're pushing her to get this thing moving, pushing her to push this thing. Let's get going here. We've got to get going, right? We've got to get going. It's already political. By making it potentially even more political isn't going to do anybody any good. It's time to get this thing moving.
She broke the history of how we did it in the House when it came to fairness. And now she wants to impose something upon the Senate that she would not use herself. I can't imagine how she does that with a straight face.
Well, it's because of the plastic surgery and the Botox, is what I'm saying. Kevin McCarthy right there. So what's going to take place? Probably something, I'm assuming. I would not be surprised if tomorrow she sends him over, but I'm assuming probably Wednesday next week, between Wednesday and Friday, because you've got, I think she would like to see this thing potentially through, and then you've got a debate next week, and I think she would like to see this thing through that, maybe to take some of the pressure and the eyes off of everybody, because that debate, what's that? I mean, without Trump, what would they be talking about? But it'll be very interesting to see when she's going to do this, because she cannot hold. The longer she holds on to it, the more political it looks. The more political it looks for her, I think weakens anything of the independents that may or may not be out there anymore at this point in time who haven't already made up their mind about this. So she's going to act sooner rather than later. Would I be surprised if it's today or tomorrow? No, but I have a feeling it's going to be next week. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Hope you're doing well. Raycons, amazing, incredible. You're going to love them. I love mine. I love my earbuds. I do. You know what I love about it? It's because I'm always doing something. And these E25s are amazing. And they've got a ton of stuff. I'm telling you guys, just go check out. Just go to buyraycon.com/Chad and check out all the stuff. Read the reviews of people. And you know what's funny is people will talk about the great, awesome headphones that, they were supposed to have before with the stems and the wires and all this stuff. And next thing you know, you find out you've paid 3-4 times as much as you should have, and the quality isn't as good. That's where Raycon comes in. 6 hours of talk time with these new E25s, better bass, seamless Bluetooth pairing, stylish, cool, right? Different colors, different styles. You're going to love these. And it's great for on-the-go listening and taking phone calls. Noise isolating fit. Now is the time to save big. Save yourself 15%. Go right now. Buyraycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
He just makes decisions without consulting others, and that's the ways you make a bad decision. No company would allow their CEO to do that. You would not survive.
No. But a business is different. Remember, that's one of the things. There's Michael Bloomberg there. One of the differences, and I've said this, we always say we want a businessman in the White House. Well, we got a businessman, and so far it's it's a B+, A- as far as the economy goes, right? I give as much credit to the American people and the workers and stuff, but it is, we could sit here and debate it all day. At the end of the day, he's going to get, reelected most likely based on that. Everything else, man, he can get an A across the board on everything. But if you get an F, a D, you're probably done for when it comes to the economy. But something I always try to remind people about, Trump's not public, right? When we talk about a CEO who's got board members and stuff like that, where you have to answer to those board members, it's a totally different thing than when you're it. And at the end of the day, boom, right? Now you look at football, right? Jerry Jones. He answers only to Jerry Jones. That's his fiefdom. That's his world. People get mad. He makes all these crazy decisions, and he makes some good ones and some bad ones. Right? You go look. You look at it, and you're like, oh yeah, when it's just you as the it person running everything, and at the end of the day, you're the decision maker, good, bad, or indifferent. It's not the same as somebody who runs a Fortune 500 company that's public, that has board members. It has got shareholders, or she's got shareholders, and they have to answer in so many different ways and follow certain things. At the end of the day, if you are the person who can outrule everybody in the room, nobody can vote you out. Nobody can do any of those things. That is a totally different world. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Bloomberg will not be on stage next week. So far, those that have qualified are Biden, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, Sanders, Warren. Tom Steyer is not. Andrew Yang is not. This would be the first one he would miss. Is it tomorrow? Is the drop dead date, I think, for whether or not you qualify? So I love the Washington Post. So the Washington Post talks about all 5 of the candidates have qualified, right? And at the end of it, it says, and all 5 candidates are so white. So, I mean, look, and they said, well, people are saying that they should relax the rules for more diverse. Shouldn't it just be the best? That's part of the identity politics. Shouldn't it be the best? So what are you going to say? Well, so-and-so is going to run, and he or she happens to be gay or black or female or whatever. So because of that, for every vote he, she, or they get, it counts as a vote and a half because we want it to be more. I mean, that's just, it's silly. Right? And this is the Democrats. That's on you guys. You guys make up the rules. And Tom Perez, who's running it, who happens to be a person of color, said, we're not changing the rules. We're making them tighter every time because this is what it's all about. It's getting through this to find the best person who could take on Trump in November. Not the most diverse, the best. And right now, you got old white guy, right? Older white guy, old white woman, right? Middle-aged white woman, and a younger white guy. So you got, that's it. Who's still left that is a person of color? You've got, Cory Booker's still in it, I guess. And you got Andrew Yang. Tom Steyer did not qualify. He's an old white guy. Marianne Williamson is not participating in this. And Bloomberg is not at all. By the way, Bloomberg and Trump, if so the Super Bowl, remember the Super Bowl like 5-10 years ago, everybody started complaining about, all the pills, if you will, to help the male. If you thought that drove you crazy, I have a feeling the entire Super Bowl is going to be nothing but Trump versus Bloomberg, Trump versus Bloomberg, Trump versus, it's just going to be one after another, one after another, one after another, one. That's all it's going to be. They have spent a ton on advertising. And I want to see how this plays out for Bloomberg. I mean, say what you want. He's got an interesting strategy. And I've always thought his strategy is he's going to focus on Super Tuesday to make enough of noise that he takes enough votes away that it's a contested convention and he'll have his moment to shine and see if he can change people's minds there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can do that right there. You can also text. It's a text line. 323-538-2423. So that's a text line. So when you leave a voicemail, we're just going to laugh.
A new level 2 warning means that any American planning a trip to Australia right now is urged to postpone their visit if they're planning to come to an area that's been affected by these wildfires. And unfortunately, that area is only growing right now. It's believed more than 15 million acres have burned. At least 25 people have died. And it's thought that more than 1 billion animals have been killed.
Yeah. 1 billion animals. Think about that. 1 billion animals have perished. That's a staggering figure. And then on top of that, I mean, you've got the loss of life, the loss of, for many people, not only their homes, but the livelihoods in other areas. And when you're a tourist country, especially in certain areas, you are, I mean, this is economically on top of everything else. Lives are changed, and that trickle-down domino effect that's taking place because of this. And it doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. Just when they think they get a handle on a certain area, it seems to flare up again. 323-538-2423, at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. She said it the other day, kind of came some noise yesterday. We're going to touch on it. What Jillian Michaels said about one Lizzo and how weird we are in certain situations when it comes to things like weight. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
He's a bad person because he killed American soldiers. He's a bad person because he led us against the embassy. He's a bad person because he went after the tankers. He's a bad person because he bombed the refinery. He's a bad person because he was planning more against Americans. The president was right in his actions, and we are safer today for it.
Kevin McCarthy right there. He's a bad person. He's a bad person. He's a bad person. I'm going to have a vote on war powers. There are a lot of Republicans, and on top of the Republicans, the Mike Lee and Rand Paul doesn't matter who does what. I mean, would like to isolate us from a lot of other things outside of the bare minimum. Right? And I think he was excited because he thought Trump was going to bring everybody home and we were going to be out of everything. Here's one thing you need to know. Like, everybody always has a plan. Like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. Like, you're going to hear no matter who it is, right? So you've got all these people running for president. And let's just say one of them wins, right? And you hear, Bernie's going to do this. And when it comes to the geopolitical world and all the stuff that goes on, and I'm going to pull these people, and I'm going to do that. No. Then you get in there and they say, all right, now I want you to come in this room. And then they open everything up and they say, da-da-da-da-da. And then you have to go back there and realize, okay, well, the game's changed, right? Because I didn't know those things. I do know these things now. So I'm going to do this, this, and this isn't really plausible. Now, I can do this, and I can do a little bit of this. But what I want to do originally, now that I know the entire story, that's not realistic. And that's everything in politics. It's every single thing in politics. Right? They tell you, oh, my God, we're going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to do this. And the first day out, I'm going to do this. And the first 100 days, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And then they get in there and they realize, no, you can't do this, 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 and this. It's just impossible to get this, 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 and this done. You can do this. You can do a little bit of this. But the reality is there's only so much you can do. And every president says it all along. You find out how much power you don't have once you get in there. You think you've got all this power, but you don't really have all that power. That's why executive orders are so popular. But with the pen, that can be undone as well. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Jillian Michaels was on, I think it's called AM to DM. It's a BuzzFeed show. And Jillian Michaels, for those of you, The Biggest Loser, she's got her own reality show and she's a fitness queen in the whole 9 yards. And she got in trouble a couple of weeks ago because she talked about body positivity. And, she basically said we shouldn't be celebrating people who are obese and overweight. And, great, you're happy in your body and all that kind of stuff. But That's not healthy, and that's not good, right? And I totally agree with her. 100%. I absolutely agree with her. It's not. Should be celebrating, would you celebrate somebody who was like, oh, he's just living his life and he's on the hair and we don't look down on him because he's doing, no, it's insane. Same thing with, like Adele. People are freaking out about Adele because she's lost a ton of weight, right? Like she dropped a ton of weight and people are worried about her. Is she okay? Is she sick? Oh, look. Oh my goodness. But when it goes to the other direction, right? When you're bigger, it's like, don't say anything because you're a jerk if you do. And I'm like, really? Like, that's like we were talking. I said, if Phil dropped 50 pounds or 60 pounds and, you got to the point where you're like uncomfortably thin, right? You started going Karen Carpenter. Yeah, I would hope somebody would say something. If Phil put on 400 pounds, we're going to have a conversation along the way. And that's because we should be able to do that. Well, that's shaming. Truth is not shaming. Now, how you say it is vitally important. But it's not shaming somebody.
I have to say, I've personally found, and I love celebrities like Lizzo or Ashley Graham who are really preaching self-acceptance.
I love her music.
Yeah.
100%. I don't know anything about her. I'm sure she's a cool, awesome chick.
Yeah, and I love that they're putting images out there that we normally don't get to see, of bodies that we don't get to see being celebrated. And
why are we celebrating her body? Why does it matter? That's what I'm saying. Like, why aren't we celebrating her music? Because it isn't going to be awesome if she gets diabetes.
Well, I want to ask you...
I'm just being honest. Like, I love her music. Like, my kid loves her music. But there's never a moment where I'm like, and I'm so glad that she's overweight. Like, why do I even care? Like, why is it my job to care about her weight?
I have to say...
Yeah, and so she got hammered for that. And they brought it up because they knew she would answer it. But why does it matter? Well, first of all, it's cost society a ton of money. I mean, we talk about rising costs of health care. We're worried about guns. Like, oh my God, we need hamburger control, right? We do. But we don't want Americans being told what to eat by our government. But in saying that, well, look what guns can do. Nobody's ever wandered into a place and killed a bunch of people with hamburgers. No, they haven't. But you know what? Look how many people die from diabetes, heart disease, things like that. She's overweight. Well, we'll call her nutritionally overachieving. A person of size. How's that? Does that sound good, Phil? Does that sound politically correct? A person of size?
I like nutritionally overachieving.
Yeah, nutritionally overachieving. Whatever makes you feel good. We need to look at the Second Amendment. No. We need to look at combo number 2, right? I'll have a number 2. Make it a Diet Coke. I'm for 49, pretty good shape. Can I be in better shape? Absolutely. Who couldn't, right? I'll go out, I'll play soccer today for an hour. Do it again tomorrow. Got a game on Saturday. See how that goes. But, try to eat decently, control my caloric intake. But what I don't want to be is a burden to society. But if I drop 75, 80 pounds, people are like, oh, do you have a disease? Are you okay? Do you need, are you bulimic? Are you anorexic? We talk about that. And on the other side of things, if you even question something, like nobody's going to say, oh, we should be body positive over the fact that you're 5'10" and you're 100 pounds. And we think that you need food, right? Where's Dr. Phil, right? Isn't Dr. Drew getting involved in this? Something like that. But if you're 400 pounds or 500 pounds, we're celebrating. We don't have a show. We have a show called Fat and Hot. Not Fat and Hot. I did it again. Hot and Heavy. Fat and Frisky. Right? We got that. We've got that kind of show right now where people are like, oh, and they're celebrating. It's like, ooh, what we don't. Could you imagine a show? bulimic and bold. It's like, what is this? But you can't say stuff like that. And it's so bizarre how we pick and choose this in this world. It's okay to be positive, but think about the cost also to society. Right? I mean, we're taking on the pharmaceutical companies and we're doing all these kind of things and we're talking about how bad they are, this, that, and the other. But we look around and we say to ourselves, well, we don't want people to tell us what to eat. No, you should be able to control those kind of things. Right? And all of us have the opportunity to do that. In saying that, we should be celebrating that. But diabetes, rising cost of healthcare, who do you think that cost? Society. Lost productivity, heart disease. You can go on over and over again. It's a very real thing. But it's funny how we can't talk about it in that kind of way. I don't think she, and again, you're going to ask a question. Do I think Lizzo's fat? Quite frankly, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I know her music, right? Because my son Jack loves her, but I had to see a picture again. I'm like, oh, okay. Do I think she's fat? I don't know. She's a bigger girl. Again, a person of size, a nutritional overachiever. But is she, I don't want anybody celebrating my body. I need to lose 20 pounds, 30. I don't want anybody to celebrate Chad. No. But honesty anymore, man, it's crazy. Again. We've gotten to the point now in our society where we are truly, we just ignore certain things because the feelings have become so important. And it's good to have empathy and it's good to have some feelings, but we should be able to address truthfulness about, we shouldn't be celebrating people who are 700 pounds, 400 pounds, 300 pounds. Right? If you're sweating when you're putting on your socks and it's cold outside, there's probably a problem. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Impeachment getting closer.
That has been Speaker Pelosi's focus.
Has it really? Has it really been her focus? All the stuff that's going on now? Has it?
They get to start it if they choose. But they do not get to declare that it can never be finished.
So they'll be battling it out in the coming days and weeks. It'll be soundbite after soundbite. It's going to be, and we know the end of the story. That's the funny thing. We know the end of the story. And what's the end of that story? He's acquitted. That's the end of the story. Or whatever you want to call it. Because it's not a jury, but it is a jury, but it's kind of a jury. And they say they're juries, but they're really not jury. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. MyPillow has towels. What? Yeah, they got everything. I continue to tell you guys, the mattress topper is the most amazing thing. And if you've thought, well, I'm looking for a new bed, get the mattress topper. It changed. You could get a regular bed and get the mattress topper at a half price of any of these other wacky things that are out there. And, this thing can do this, and it goes up and down. You are going to sleep so much better. But their towels are incredible. They're incredible. 5 designer colors, luxury feel, super absorbent, extra soft, real 100% USA cotton, 60-day money-back guarantee. They're big bath towels, amazing hand towels, washcloths, 5 different colors. You're going to love these things. Introductory offer right now with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the new radio listener special. When you do that, type in code Benson, saves you 30%. Or call 800-983-4975. Use that promo code Benson or MyPillow.com. New radio listener special, promo code Benson. And you'll be squeaky clean and dry. Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
We're talking about weight. Several people text in. It's hilarious. Chad, I can't believe you'd say that. You're not thin. I never said I was thin, but I try to work out. I try to moderate my food. And, every single day. But what I'm not is disgusting. What I'm not is clinically obese. What I'm not, right, is, and most of you listening, you aren't that either. is think about this. Everybody, we'd love to be in the perfect fitness. We'd all love that, right? And we were talking about the whole fitness side of things as we got into this whole thing with Lizzo and, her body positivity and all these people. And then, Jillian Michaels last month or so. And that's her business, is getting people fit, right? And so if you ask her a question about that, she's going to answer the question. All of us would love to be that way. But we all want to be comfortable in our bodies. And I said earlier, look, I'm never going back to days when I played soccer, right? You got like a 28 or 30 inch waist and you're ripped and yoked. Because that was my job. You're not spending 8 or 10 hours a day. You want to find something you're comfortable at, right? In your own skin. But there's also the reality. Like my uncle, God bless him, I love him. We talk about it all the time. He calls himself, I've nutritionally overachieved. And I bust his ass. Because he's like my best friend in the world. And I don't want to watch him drop dead one day. I don't. I also don't want to pay for him. And if he falls, I don't want to pick him up because this is going to be really hard. You're such a jerk, Chad. But we talk about it. Well, but what do you say? I love the guy, but I'm honest, right? And shouldn't we be that? Are we that weird anymore? I guess we are. I mean, you can't say anything. You can't even joke about it. Think about the day that we live in now, the world that we live in, how you can't even joke about stuff, right? And Boy George, perfect example. He's in trouble with the T in the LGBT community because he said, leave your pronouns at the door. Oh, that's provocative. Is it? Is that really provocative? And they, of course, they've destroyed him. And you're just like, oh, I don't know. Why? Because he thinks he's over it, right? He's kind of over it. But it's like everybody wants to be treated in a special way. So whether it's victim or it's all, and it's one of the things we've talked about before. And I watched a great TED Talk about a month ago with this guy talking about this, and another guy, and I forgot his name, and another guy was on with Joe Rogan around the same time talking about people that were bigger. And one of the things is some people that becomes their identity, and that if they lost a bunch of weight, it would almost be like they feel like that is, they're no longer special. And it was part of the psychology of it all. And that's sad. It's sad. But again, to me, I talked to my uncle. I love it. My mom was over. I talk about that. You know what? I want you to be around. Right? For the grandkids, because, all the kids you adopted, I don't want, but I want you to be around because you're my mom. We should be able to have those kind of discussions. But we just can't now. And it's the same thing. We need to celebrate it. And we just need to be honest, right? I want you to feel awful about yourself, but you probably already do. But some now, they just don't. And they celebrate. Go ahead. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from you. Again, Iran was the plane shot down. Many people and several different agencies and news organizations are pointing to, they believe now, more than likely, the plane that crashed the other night didn't crash because of mechanical failure, but because it was shot down after it left Tehran, killing 170, differing everything from 180 to 173 people that were on board. Many Canadians, some Brits, Ukrainians, and some Iranians. Horrible, horrible. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter and your Instagram as well. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show.